it say it? Are we live? Does it say it? Are we live? Does it say we are?
God.
What in the world?
I don't know why there's like a continuous echo.
There's an echo. Is that?
I don't know why there's like a continuous echo.
I was the one to be blamed, I think. I was the one to be blamed, I think.
I think it's from your mic, Glory. I think we're getting feedback. I think it's from your mic, Glory. I think we're getting feedback. I think it's from your mic.
I think it's coming from you, Jay, because I don't hear the echo whenever you mute. If you have the stream open in like another tab.
I did, like an idiot.
It happens to the best of us.
See, that's it. Oh, JB is over. I'm done. I'm leaving. No, see you later. I'm done. I can't do this. Can't even do my job.
We've all noobed it up like that before. It's okay.
No one can do anything. Look at the world the way it is right now. Look at what we just learned. Yes. Right?
Yes.
So, like, how can a human being function normally in this scenario? This is not normal. Wake up. No. We're not in a corporation. No one has to behave in a way that everything is fine. No, everything is not fine. We should not be behaving right now. Fact. To be socially behaving right now is to be crazy and in denial. And I'm sorry if crazy is that ableist. Please educate me because I like vocabulary. But don't be in denial. This is a serious moment, and we are all like.
I think crazy is fine because I've been called that before too. I've been told that I need to be more respectful. I need to calm down. I need to quiet, be a bit quiet. Glory, you're always so loud. Like you don't need the megaphone. But listen, I'm a nice person, but there's everything. There's a duality to me where I get fucking loud sometimes because, hey, the occasion calls for it. So.
Mm-hmm. Look. We're going to get back on track because JB was tripping. Welcome to the JB Font channel. I am your host, James Fauntleroy. The JB Font channel is also available on all major podcast platforms like Anchor, Apple, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, so you can subscribe there. I'm also part of the Revolutionary Blackout Network, and you can find me on the JB Show at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays and at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays for the Roundtable. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure to smush down that subscribe button. If you do, I may promise you cookies or apple pie or even tiramisu, maybe, if I can give it through the screen. It's the thought that counts, right? I would like to give a shout out to my patrons on Patreon as well as Coffee. Thank you for your additional support. You guys have basically kept the lights on, which I am deeply grateful for. And also, just to let you guys know, I'm also now available on Rumble. So if you guys would like to catch the JB Show on repeat on Rumble, then you guys got me there. I am live here today with two of my sisters in this fight. I have with me my RBN sister, Josana, and I have my sister from another mister, Miss Glory Jones, joining me from the MCSC network.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Everybody's so active in the chat today. Like, man, everybody got something to say. Miguel, so good to see you. Yes, the Democrats used you. Time to go after them. Angela says, good afternoon, JB. Yeah, I feel like I had to take 2 showers for every Dem I voted for in the last, how many years have I been voting? Yeah, I got you on that one. Sweary Fairies and also in the chat. So good to see you. Yep, they manipulate your emotions. They are gaslighters, basically. Bryce Smith says CJ got me looking at some old videos that I used to watch. He brought up Edward Bernays, brings back memories. So good to see you. She's black. Good to see Democrats had years to fix this, but didn't. So the voting crowd can kick rocks.
Not just years, decades.
Decades. Yes. Teach them on it, Glory. Gosh. Demon 1800 said, if it's up, thank you so much. Who else do we have in the chat today? Let's see. Angela says, you said it right there. Thank you so much. Solgado. Yep. So good to see you. Also, Ricky Rance is in the chat. Get this man 7 more subs. Yeah, I'm actually about 7 subs away from 1,000. Somewhere around there. So I'm almost there. Once I hit it, I'm doing a special stream. Angela, very good point, says that, and it's a distraction.
I was looking at that comment.
Yeah. Thanks. From the authorization of use of military funds getting introduced by Kinzinger and that pesky $33 billion Biden wants to send to the country that starts with a U and rhymes with propane. They never wants to waste a good distraction. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't say that country's name because the thing is that the algorithm will flag me, and then next thing you know, JB show end up being taken down before it can even get a good start. So I have to make sure that I don't say the name of that country or the one that starts with an R. So
yeah. And I mean, like, I love protests outside of the Supreme Court and major governmental institutions, but like, if you can just take that protest and then like move it to the Pentagon after too, I'd really appreciate that because, you know, I'm not in DC, but like, we want to, you know.
I just came here to say that we don't need to talk about stuff that is portrayed in Hollywood. Everybody saw that movie before. Like, we cannot fall for distractions, and I am always sorry for all the lives lost in the process of that. But we are in a serious situation. Mm-hmm. We should look at ourselves too.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking also through the chat to see who else. R.I.P. George Habash. Good to see you. He is geeking out, overseeing Glory in the chat, which is always good. We always geek out over our sisters here. Steven Torres, so good to see you. Oi.
Steven right. T-Spin Torres.
Yep. All right. Just trying to remember consuming liquids when hanging out with JB is hazardous to your electronics. What?
I do it because I want to challenge myself.
Challenge accepted. Oh my goodness. Egg 64 says, kind of funny how Pelosi's daughter is out here trying to shame when her mama was out here funding anti-choice blue dogs. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Come with receipts, people. That is great. Brandy Weaver says, almost died during my last pregnancy, so fuck Dems and Republicans both. Wow. I am so sorry to hear that. Oh, yeah. This is, look, especially to the women and trans men that are watching, I want to hear your voices mostly during this. So please, you know, in the comments or in the chat, I'm not going to be talking that much. I'm actually leaving it toward, you know, and my sisters here, because this is opinion. My opinion really doesn't matter that much, especially on this subject. I'm here to talk to the guys. That's what I'm here for. So that's what I'm here. Look, dudes and trans women, okay, we need to have a conversation as allies. But that's basically what I'm here for. I'm just here for moral support. But yeah, so good to see everybody here. So if anybody has not noticed or been under a rock for the last 24 hours, I'm going to share my screen and show the report first so that this can springboard us into the conversation. A political article came out and it was a leaked draft opinion from the Supreme Court, and it's titled "Supreme Court has voted to overturn abortion rights. Draft opinion shows." And so, actually, let me enlarge this just a little bit. All right, so that everybody can read along with me just for a second. Okay, it says the Supreme Court has voted to strike down the landmark Roe v. Wade decision according to an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito, circulated inside the court and obtained by Politico. The draft opinion is a full-throated, unflinching repudiation of the 1973 decision, which guaranteed federal constitutional protections of abortion rights, and a subsequent 1992 decision, Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that largely maintained the right. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. That's what Justice Alito has said. He said, "We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled," he writes, labeled the opinion of the court. "It is time to heed the Constitution and return to the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives." And he says deliberations on controversial cases have in the past been fluid. Justices can and sometimes do change their votes as draft opinions circulate, and major decisions can be subject to multiple drafts and vote trading, sometimes until just days before a decision is unveiled. The court's holding will not be a final until it is published, likely in the next 2 months. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but as far as opinions go, opinions from Josanna and Glory. Glory, what is your opinion based on this, just from the initial seeing this this event over the last 12 hours?
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry. I guess this isn't sort of to minimize what would be happening if Roe is struck down, but I guess I'm not necessarily feeling any more threatened as a woman than I was last week or the week before, just because when it comes to Roe v. Wade, I mean, the unfortunate fact is that it's been turned into more of a political tool as like a fear-mongering weapon to raise money by the Dems, because they had decades to codify Roe v. Wade into law, but they chose not to, so they could every midterm and every presidential election come around and say, hey, you got to vote Dem or else the Republicans are going to strike down Roe v. Wade, or you got to vote for Hillary or else Trump is going to nominate a conservative judge that'll strike down Roe v. Wade. So I really don't appreciate how it's been turned into a political tool. And you know, the right to privacy and the right to bodily autonomy is something that's very much at risk. And the unfortunate fact is that has been getting attacked for the past some decades and years now. And I feel threatened from that. And this decision with Roe v. Wade almost feels like sort of an escalation of that. Not like, you know, not like a train hitting you out of nowhere, but more so just an escalation of the battle against, of the war being waged against our privacy and our bodily autonomy that's been going on forever. Because I mean, like, you know, I hate to bring this up at a panel about Roe v. Wade, but like today's World Press Freedom Day, one of the major problems that we see against journalists is the surveillance of journalists, the violation of their privacy, like someone like Julian Assange, the violation of his legal rights, and other female journalists around the world that have their privacy violated when like their phones are hacked as a means to take like compromising pictures of them to blackmail with. Like, I'm very, very concerned in general about the war against our privacy and our bodily autonomy. And I think that this is like an escalation of that. And I'm worried to see where it could escalate. But I'm also not necessarily like having the same reaction as like some of the liberal women out there, where it's like, oh my God, like this, who was it that said like, this is going to be the first time where the daughters have had less rights than their granddaughters. And it's like, huh? Like Jim Crow wasn't that long ago, honey. So, yeah, that's more or less where I stand. I think it's something that we need to fight for regardless. And I think it's something that we need to fight for regardless of what the Supreme Court does, because it's such an outdated institution as it stands. It's what, 8 or 9 people determining the supreme law over hundreds of millions of people. It's this outdated institution where people are appointed for life, and they're all out of touch as hell. Even like, I hate to say it, even Ketanji Brown, the only reason why she's there is because she was endorsed by several police unions. That's the only reason why she was one of the allowable Black women, because she went to Harvard and was endorsed by several police unions. And then you have all these other judges that are just even more out of date. So, I think we just need to fuck the Supreme Court altogether too, and just keep protesting for our bodily autonomy, because I mean, it's under attack from multiple angles.
And to you, Miss Josana, Miss Burn Shit Down, what is your opinion? Please.
So that will be my sister. That will be my sister Kim. That will be my sister Kim. But I will burn it down with her. No, I feel like it's very performative, right? Like the existence in the USA is very performative. Like you have waves of freedom and waves of democracy, but it's very performative because it is in no way what we live and what we have lived before in the past in the US, a democracy or freedom. It's always addressed to one subject, to one specific group. So for all of us, it's played in the television and in our minds, and we grow up with that. Yes, that's no, but it's a lie. It's performative. So I am not surprised that this is happening right now under Joe Biden's government, and I am not going to be surprised if it is overturned and if it becomes illegal, because Nancy Pelosi is talking about it. We should quiet about abortion so we don't lose the elections. So like, I just feel like I come from a country where we do not, abortion is illegal as a federal law. Like, and I see what happens, what plays it out. Like it also, like, of course, sorry, vocabulary is missing. Of course, that the women that die in clandestine clinics, the women that are trigger warning, raped, the women that are abused or killed or tortured in clinics are poor Black women, right? In a country like mine, being Black means you're going to be poor. So the majority are Black.
Yeah.
So I can Google the numbers while the both of you speak, but like it's cruel. It's a cruel amount. And the rich women, they travel abroad and they get abortions. Right? I think that's going to happen here too. I think this is not for the upper class. I think this is another thing on us. But what I like about it is because it's loud and clear on our faces. So now we can make the choice of how we're going to move after that. Right?
True.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Corey?
I mean, as you guys can guess, I'm a big fan of leaks from major government institutions. So I definitely think that this presented us with a good chance to have that sort of wake-up call, and also to really expand this into a fight not just for Roe v. Wade, but for bodily autonomy, period, and for also a degree of, like, I shouldn't say security, but like stability for those poor Black and brown women who, because I think it's a good chance to push the conversation, like Josana said, because who would an abortion ban really affect? It would affect poor Black and brown women who can't travel abroad to go get abortions, or who can't afford expensive contraceptives because for some fucking stupid ass reason, contraceptives and period products are dumbly expensive. Mm-hmm. So, it's going to affect poor Black and brown women. And I think that this also presents us with a good chance to push that conversation and further advance kind of like the idea that, yes, there's also an aspect of class to this. There's also an aspect of race to this. Unfortunately, something that I also have a problem with is Planned Parenthood themselves. They have origins in the eugenicist movement against poor Black and brown people. Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist, but that doesn't mean that I'm anti-abortion. And also Planned Parenthood fundraises against Medicare for all. So I think that this is going to be a good chance to push the conversation on those aspects as well. And I think, yeah, anytime you can take the advantage to do that, I think anytime a movement arises to do that, then like, yes, go ahead.
I'm reading the numbers, and it's in Spanish, but just to your point, like, it's so funny how if you go to the roots of history in the US, is always rooted in evil, and it's always wearing a sheep's clothes, right? Yeah. Like, it's always rooted in evil. That's the reason why you have to ask yourself, why are they trying to like cut some stuff? Like, oh, you cannot teach this, you cannot teach that. Like, we should not talk Ministry of Disinformation, like, because it's like, it's where the Democrats thrive.
Yeah.
It's by co-opting speeches of the left, like socialist principles, and pretending that they are cool. It's like that feminist march with the pussy.
Oh my God. You know those are coming back out. And who was it that said, She's Black said, don't let the shit libs turn this into a vote for Dem BS project. They already have. The Dems already put out the emails like this. It's like, because if anything, they probably wanted Roe v. Wade struck down, because that decision literally says that now abortion is going to be left up to your elected representatives. So now Dems can just say, oh, now that abortion is up to your elected representatives, vote Dem, and we'll fucking like, and I'm sure we'll codify a pro-abortion laws this time. Like, yeah, y'all had a fucking super majority with Obama. You had how many majorities or super majorities in the past decade, and you didn't do shit. You didn't do shit for Roe v. Wade. You didn't do shit for gay marriage. And because, gay marriage is one of the things that's going to be next, because, yeah, you didn't do shit for that. You didn't do shit for bodily. Neither of these parties, red or blue, actually care about your privacy or your bodily autonomy.
Oh my God. The amount of blaming videos on YouTube we're going to start seeing, the amount of like blamer YouTubers that are going to like come at me.
Come at me. I want the smoke.
Didn't vote for and now, and then people doing that already for Hillary. Get a fucking grip.
Hey, bro, I want the smoke. I don't care. Come at me, bro. Nelson, and the fact Nelson, next they're coming for interracial marriage. Like, for fuck's sake, bro, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, holy shit. I mean, yeah. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for interracial marriages. Like, holy fuck.
And I saw one of the numbers I started seeing in the article says that so abortion in Brazil is nationally illegal, is a crime. The doctor will be arrested, the patient will be arrested, everybody. There are 55 million abortions per year. 45% shit goes down. And right, like they die, or they catch a disease, or they are raped, which is a thing too. And so it doesn't make sense to have a law to forbid something if it's going to happen anyways. So that mask has to be off. We all know that law doesn't hold anybody back, right? There is the advantage of having the law. I find it really funny that they vote to overturn the anti-abortion, right? Sorry, I'm getting confused in that system, because to me it's like, wow, the abortion laws, but they do never vote to implement the anti-corruption laws. It should be so clear on how this is only in their own interest. Because why is the reason that when the Democrats had the supermajority in the past that they didn't consolidate these things? It's because they need that. It's a chess game and they need that pawn. Because look, the Republicans are coming for us. Like they have no power. And it's funny because they are super powerless always when they have majority. Right? Always when they have majority of everything, they're like super powerless. They cannot do anything. The Republicans are coming. Weird.
Yeah. Well, and then it's a thing where it's like, oh man, we can't just force legislation through. Like that, come on, that's not democratic. That's disrespectful to our esteemed institutions we have here. Like, are you kidding me? Like y'all are clowns. Give these institutions the respect that they deserve, which is none. Like, if you're in there, force it through. I don't care. Congress has fucked up how many times now? Like, just get shit done. Not that, I'm in favor of Congress period, but like, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, who was it that held back Obama's Supreme Court pick for Trump? And they were a minority, weren't they? And yet he was able to do that with all that power. And you mean to tell me that you can have, in between 2008 and 2010, a supermajority in the Senate and a majority in the House, and you have the presidency, and you didn't bother to codify it into law? I mean, look, JB likes receipts, right? So JB got some receipts. Let's take a look at this right here. Okay. Okay, this was an answer to Rome. And what does it say from BuzzFeed? Oh, BuzzFeed. Back in May 25th of 2012, it says Obama promised, to sign the Freedom of Choice Act on day one, hasn't touched the issue since. It says in the subheading, the legislation would make abortion rights government policy. The president promised to sign the bill first thing as president during a speech to Planned Parenthood in 2008. And in April of 2009 speech, the president said the bill was not his highest legislative priority. The bill wouldn't pass the Republican House, and he hasn't touched the issue since.
He was too busy bailing on Wall Street, bro. Come on.
You're right. But Homeboy had a supermajority in the Senate and a majority in the House. And what's that position called from certain people in Congress? Aren't they called the whips, right? Isn't that something that you're supposed to be able to do, is to whip votes, to use the bully pulpit in order to get things passed, to twist some arms, to use carrots and sticks in order to get things done? I thought that you could use that as a president, but apparently Obama didn't think so.
Nah, bro, he had to go sip some water from Flint.
Oh man.
I mean, it's sorry, Julie.
No, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
No, it's just because like I sometimes feel like I told you today, like I don't feel like I can say something on that matter. I don't feel too American to have an opinion about this thing. But also I just feel like sometimes talking about this is so repetitive.
Yeah.
Like it's we repeat ourselves in saying like politicians are lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
Politicians need to lie to you in order to get the job. So what would be a good solution like to that? But I feel like maybe because they are attacking, and I'll be very clear, white women,
Mm-hmm.
maybe the outcome will be different in this situation, will be very different. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, the moment that if you think about it, when it comes to policy, like Black and brown people, especially poor Black and brown people, unfortunately, are kind of like the canaries in the mine. Yeah. And but then eventually that shit always works its way up. And then the moment that it's affecting not only enough of the population numbers wise, but enough of the population in terms of social standing, that's when people try to care. It's like with Vietnam, you know, they didn't really care too much about bombing the shit out of poor Black and brown people abroad until it was, you know, white college kids that were getting drafted for it. So that's why they were like, oh, we'll just get rid of the draft. So now it's a poverty draft. And now people don't care about war that much anymore.
That's a good analysis from both of you. And it's just like what both of you said. Men, I want to talk to you for a second. Abortions have been happening for thousands of years. And they will continue to keep happening, even if it's illegal. The issue of abortion in this country is not a moral issue. It is a safety issue. It is an issue of, do we want to have control over half the population's bodies? And if we do, then what slippery slope are we allowing for them to not have control over our bodies as men, as those of us who possess testicles, those of us who have these parts? What's to say that they won't put out something regarding our body autonomy? Do you want to be told what you should do with your own loins? What you should do with your own body, men? Because that's what's coming.
Oh, it is. And I mean, like, you know, on the other side of the aisle, you had the fact that there was like, invocations, is that the right word? I don't know. But like the invoking of the bodily autonomy debate so that way people wouldn't be taking the vaccine the COVID vax, if they knew that they were going to be subject to side effects, to harmful side effects, or if they had like a heart condition and they knew that the vaccine was causing something like myocarditis. There we go. So like, you know, like if bodily autonomy is under threat here, it's going to be under threat there for sure. And then with something else, like how much medical experimentation can be justified as well? Because like, you know, I don't doubt that in these non-safe abortion centers, like Josanna said, something like rape can occur, but also something like medical experimentation can be occurred, because we know from history that when poor Black and brown people are in these medical centers, they unfortunately, in too many instances, have been subject to medical experimentation. So when your bodily autonomy is under threat, you know, it opens the door for all that kind of shit to happen. So, yeah.
But the question is, when our bodily autonomy wasn't under threat.
Yeah.
There's not a moment in history that people like us had bodily autonomy. Maybe there was, when our ancestors were still in motherland without being bothered by the white people.
And
but
in maternal societies
white European people.
Well, I was just going to say too, like a lot of ancient African societies, they were very maternal, and they celebrated, and you know, they celebrated stuff like fertility and all of that, and they centered like that mother figure and would celebrate her, not like chastise her because she was poor or some shit. Like, you know, and there's a lot of archaeological evidence of this too, that it was that ancient society, at least in Africa, in some African tribes, was very maternal. So, yeah.
African culture is very maternal. There is a book that I always recommend. It's called The Spirit of Intimacy by Sobofu Somé. I think everybody in the West should read this book. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's been like a tool, like every day carrying, like year after year, the weight of being this person in the West, right? We're Black, Indigenous people in the West. Mm-hmm. It's like I know no real freedom. Of course I do, as an artist, as a person that seeks for it, that like when I'm here talking to you, but like we are made to not know freedom in the capitalist standards. And then we say, okay, we do not want this freedom. We just want to sit together, eat, dance, and no. You're going to make sure that you maintain this kind of freedom that we believe to be freedom just for us. And then
it's like you have a degree of mental emancipation, but like realistically, like our existence is a constant fight, because like in a lot of spaces we're perceived as threats to someone, you know. And shout out to Yona, who said that Cherokee Nation is a matriarchy. Woohoo!
My mom's grandma's nation was Pataxó. Is the same. That's why the women were kidnapped by the European, because they were the warriors. They were around the nation, the territory.
And this is a huge. I think the point that I was trying to make is that for a lot of us, this is a class issue as well as a race issue. It is intertwined. And it's also a capitalistic production issue, because they want to punish women for denying the capitalist structure another worker. That's basically what it is. Oh, you're taking a potential worker away from us? I don't care if it was an ectopic pregnancy. I don't care if it was incest. I don't care if it was rape. I don't care if you had it at 15, 16, 17. I don't care. I don't care if you can't afford to have it. You're going to have another worker for me. We're going to either put them in the system through wage slavery, or we're going to arrest that person and then have them work inside of our prisons. But you're going to have them. We're going to force you to have them because we own you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. It's never about actual preserving of life, because if they wanted to truly preserve life, we wouldn't be sending weapons to Saudi Arabia to kill babies in Yemen.
Mm-hmm.
We would not be supporting the illegal Israeli occupation in Gaza against the Palestinians. We would not be in support of bombing places like Somalia. And guess what? It's both parties that do this. I titled it this way as the Democrats are using you because they are hanging this over your head saying, hey, look, if you guys don't vote for us, well, Roe v. Wade is going to get overturned by the Republicans, the big bad Republicans. And then guess what? You have a Democratic president, a Democratic majority Senate, and a Democratic majority House. And it still is getting overturned.
Mm-hmm.
How about that harm reduction, huh?
But also, let's see if it's not going to take time and get closer to election days, because they can play however they want, and they do so, right? They do play however they want. And when you say that both parties bomb, it's just one party, it's the party of the Pentagon's party of the white supremacy. If by now, today, May 3rd 2022, if you did not see that yet, please start observing. The similarities, the commonalities are in bigger numbers than the differences.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people in that party are portraying revolutionaries, are portraying to be cool people. And unfortunately, they are diversity hire for that part that they are playing. I'm talking about the squad, and I'm talking about Bernie. Because you have to seriously, look at the platform that man has. If he wanted any change, he would be in the streets with his platform.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
If he wanted change, he would have opened his mouth about the fact that he was clearly being screwed in the primaries.
He would run independent.
Yeah.
He would have run whatever is the better English for you. Sorry.
It's fine either way.
Yay!
Hey!
Oh, hello. So we are live from the Lions Den. Period. It's actually kind of dry right now because there's a big gap in the rallies. One just stopped, but I kind of got here a little late. So yeah, hello. Really excited to be here. And yeah, fuck all of this shit. Fuck all these weird ass white supremacist ass white people that think that they can tell us what we can do with our bodies.
Afeni joins us live from the Supreme Court at a protest, basically fighting for body autonomy. And I want to say this when all of y'all were here. I just want to say that it's a privilege to have all of you here to discuss this with me, and also me as an ally to be more educated on this issue. So I just want to thank y'all for all being here collectively together. Now that I have all your beautiful faces here with me today. So, but
yeah, no, thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
And normally, how should I say it? Normally it's always stigmatized when you want to seek out someone based on their identity, because of all the shit that happens with identity politics and how so often it's weaponized for the Democratic or Republican agenda. But when it comes to an issue that pertains to women, you kind of got to get woman on. So I appreciate you for doing that.
Yeah. And so as far as the issue is going on, a lot of us, and I think Afeni, you even expressed how I was expressing how this is a slippery slope for a lot of us. And look, those of us that are queer, we're next.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. Like the most important thing that we need to take from this decision is that they are making this decision based on the fact that the previous decision that was made about Roe v. was illegitimate. And they're saying that the right to privacy does not actually protect the right to an abortion. And that is going to apply to many different things, because the right to privacy has also been used in Loving v. Virginia. It was also used in a myriad of other cases as far as like same-sex relationships are concerned. Even before marriage was even was brought up, same-sex relationships were ruled on by the Supreme Court. And the only reason why they stood is because of the right to privacy. So they are literally attacking our human rights. This isn't just about abortions. Yes, that is the beginning, but this is going to snowball into a bunch of different things. And Justice Alito said just as much in his memo, that this is just the beginning. They're definitely coming from a Burgerfeld next, and we need to really come up with a strategy that does not include voting for Democrats that literally helped this happen. Because Nancy Pelosi just welcomed pro-life Democrats into the party in 2020. That wasn't that long ago. They just reauthorized the Hyde Amendment not too long ago. So there are plenty of Democrats that do not support the right to choose, including Hillary Clinton's running mate in 2016, Tim Kaine, while we're talking all this shit. So at the end of the day, this is not just about like which party to support and which party is going to fight for our rights harder. Both parties have shown a complete and utter lack of actual compassion and humanity, and we're absolutely tired of that shit. So we need to organize for something better.
Yeah. I just want to answer a question by Salgado. Salgado asked, was gay marriage codified into law? No, it was not codified into law. It's being held over our heads, just like Roe v. Wade is being held over our heads as a fundraising tool for the Democrats in order to keep money coming in. You guys got these political parties, they are a business. That's what it is. That's how capitalism works. It takes over the political parties and makes them into a business so that they just use your fear in order to make more money. That's all it basically is.
But that's also like, you cannot expect to have, sorry, I want to say the right term. Where's the question? Oof.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, codified. Sorry.
Codified.
You cannot, Yeah, thank you. Codified. You cannot expect laws like they codifying leftist speech into law.
Well,
they have no interest in doing that. They holding the carrot in front of the donkey, so the donkey keeps on walking. Like it's on their faces. Like we have codified racism and homophobia into law in a third world country. It's hard as fuck to like get the cops to come to the place and arrest them, but it is law that you cannot be a racist and you cannot be a homophobe. It is a law. Like, and it is a victory of the left. And I don't see ways for that to happen here, because we have to change the electoral system in the United States of America. Enough. That is the first thing that has to break down so we can implement the other changes. The electoral system in the USA has to be different, has to be gone.
Yeah.
And I'm not even proposing that we don't have an electoral system in place. I'm just saying that this one has to be gone.
Facts.
Otherwise, this is going to be us over and over again in the fucking hamster wheel. Sorry, Gloria, go ahead.
Oh, no, you were doing great. I was just like co-signing everything you said. Yeah, elections here are literally fake their performance. They can be rigged by whichever party wants to, by whichever party wants to win in the moment. The elections are owned by private corporations that have ties to their respective parties. And that code that's used in the machines isn't open source. We don't have transparent elections, so we can't even confirm that the shit is not rigged if we wanted to. And our audits, or the audits we have, are pathetic. They're like 1%. And so our elections are so fake, and like we can't continue believing in that. That goes back to what I was saying earlier with the Supreme Court. Like it's such an illegitimate institution to begin with. Like Josana said, you codified racism into law. You had legal ass fucking redlining. You had legal ass fucking racial covenants. You had legal ass fucking laws that were literally criminalizing feeding homeless people in a park.
Yeah.
But you didn't codify the right to bodily autonomy? And so it's like we've seen multiple times who, what this system will work for and who this system will work for, and how its little minions in Congress honestly is just PR for the corporations. They're PR for the system. Half their bills, most of the worst legislation in Congress isn't even written by the people. It's written by these massive think tanks, this whole military, industrial, congressional, intelligence, media, academia think tank complex that's behind them. And it goes into Congress so they can pay them and lobby them to sign them into laws. So they're just PR for it. They're just selling it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like that system is so illegitimate now. Like Josana said, like everything Josana said.
And that's why when people like, oh, I don't know, Feeney, Glory, run for Congress, go. No, I push back. I'm like, don't do it. Because if you're going there, you're going to have to be like them.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that Cori Bush was an activist. I don't. But to step where she is right now, that's a pass. That's in her past, baby. Now it's just the dress, just like AOC with the dress. It's like, so it's gone. That's what we're doing now. Boom. They see this as a job to make money. If the electoral system doesn't change, you cannot elect comrades and expect things to change through electoralism. Mm-hmm. You have to have, like, the duopoly has to be burned down. Like the electoral college, like it's one person, one vote.
Yeah.
That's it. You elect nationally and then statewide for your state, but nationally, one person, one vote. If 5 voted for me and 3 for JB, I won, motherfucker. Like it's
Yeah.
And we are not like, this country needs to stop. We people of this country, we need to just like shut the country down.
Yeah, shut it down.
Mm-hmm. Shut it down.
And I was heartbroken because Afeni put out a tweet yesterday expressing that she was literally in tears because this threat is always held over our heads. And I say our because my fight as a cis man has to be your fight, right? An injustice somewhere is an injustice everywhere, right? And this goes in line with basically I kind of adapted a poem to fit to today. And this is what I said. I said I wrote this because it's appropriate for today. I said, first they came for the immigrants, but I did not speak out because I am not an immigrant. Then they came for the trans people, but I did not speak out because I am not trans. Then they came for the women, but I did not speak out because I am not a woman. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. To my gay, bi men, and trans women, I ask, will we stand with cis women and trans men during this fight for their body autonomy, or will you stand on the sidelines? Their fight should be our fight. Do not tolerate injustice. Because some of y'all got sisters, cousins, mamas, daughters, nieces, trans sons. Some of y'all got, trans husbands. Y'all need to really wake up and take a look and say, yo, we can't deal with this. This is not right. Because what they're going through is going to happen to us. And as a gay male, like, number one, it's also a slippery slope, but number two, it's just the right thing to do. It's just the right thing to do.
As simple as that.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Sisters, just I can only say so much because, it's not really, it is in a sense my fight, but I need to be in the back of the line. You know what I mean? Standing behind, the people who this affects the most. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you all on, is because people need to hear you. And look, white gay men, as far as, being disenfranchised, you guys are at the top of the totem pole. So you have a privilege. You still have a privilege. Even though you're gay, you have a privilege. So y'all need to use that privilege and speak out. I'm sorry, please go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just like, use it. Use it.
Use your privilege. I mean, that's very important because, that's the thing that we need you to do. So, Josana, where can they find you? Because I know you have to get going.
So we are very excited. Tomorrow we have a stream on RBN. It's called "Do We Still Have Time?" I'm gonna be with the Rebellion. Sorry, I have to get the names. It's important that I say that properly.
Extinction Rebellion?
Yes, Extinction Rebellion and Scientist Rebellion. And I will be also with sorry, Siri, go away. I screamed and she showed up. I will also be with Dr. Lorena. She is a PhD in urban studies and she's from Brazil, but she lives here. We're going to be discussing climate change. We will be discussing if there is still time to push back the climate change denial. And we're going to announce our action, which is called Camp Dada. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow. And I hope the three of you can be there with me. That would be amazing. Mwah. Bye-bye. Love you all.
Mwah. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. All right.
I'm not chest deep in finals. I'll come through.
It's all good. It's all good, Glory. But yeah, so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation. And you have basically spoke so well about how this is all really just a ploy to really keep just the money going. I'm a quote, my buddy Savvy. She says, "Follow the money." That's all you got to do is follow the money. So yeah, your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. It's like when it comes to issues of something like abortion, it's a lot of social issues and, issues of identity are always used as political tools. They're always used as like ploys or means of distraction, which is, a very unfortunate part of it. So, I'm very glad to see all the protests, but more importantly, I hope it's something that continues regardless of what the Supreme Court decision ultimately ends up being, because bodily autonomy has been under attack. It's like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's not like this decision or this draft decision is like a train coming out of nowhere. No, it's something that's been, you've been tied down and the train's going to hit you. It's more like a situation like that. So we need to be able to have like a unified front in fighting for these key rights, like bodily autonomy or a right to privacy, as it, relates to multiple forms. And yeah, Yona put something really pretty in the chat that I'm going to read. It was when we were talking about like matriarchal societies. He said, the women are the purifiers, hear their purity, listen to pureness, and learn to purify oneself. We collect residuals that need to be cleaned out, whether doubts, fears, insecurities, or insults. And yeah, he's a poet. So like everything he writes is just pretty. So, but yeah, nah. I can't think of anything else to say. I even got like the World Press Freedom Day plug in there. So yeah. Definitely check out Jasana's event. I mean, because the environment, that's also a big issue that's been at risk. With deep sea mining around the corner, with mining using child labor in the global south going on, contaminating and polluting local populations. That's a very important issue. So definitely keep an eye out on the environment too.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate you coming in to give your perspective. And I know that you and Afeni are pretty close in age as far as like a Gen Z. And as you're coming up, in your young adult years, you're seeing this attack basically on your body autonomy. And I see, your generation being very fierce and leading the charge on this. And me as your big brother, I'm here to stand behind you. So
I hope so. We got too much of a reliance on like propaganda and social media. So like, I hope we're not gonna fall for like the CIA tools that be coming onto TikTok. I hope you're right though, because we do got like a nice little energy and urgency thing going. So yeah.
Definitely. Afeni, are you? I don't.
She's
okay.
talking to someone.
She's having a conversation. But yeah. But yeah.
And I totally forgot to plug anything I had coming up. I'm on Slow News Day. Slow News Day. It's a part of MCSC Network. We're the fam. Slow News Day every Sunday at 10 a.m. East Coast time. I mean, no, sorry, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. East Coast time. Shit. Actually won't be on this Sunday because I'll be moving out and shit. But yeah, I'm normally on there on Sundays, and also active. And I mentioned like how we criminalize being homeless. Something that relates to that is the Commander X case. For updates in that, at @FreeCommanderX_ on Twitter, because he's currently in prison for DDoSing government sites because they criminalized homelessness and feeding people in a park. So that's something else. And then shout out everybody in the chat: Yona, Steven, Prop, ICU, Demon, Bryce, Beverly, Lula, Creative Experiments, Sula, and and Angela too. You've been spitting facts in chat.
All right.
I'm gonna be in that S party, Steven. Shit. T spinning on them fools.
Yeah, definitely. So it's so good to see you here. I'm gonna stay on just for a few more minutes, but just whenever you want to come back to just chat and we can talk about policy We can talk about activism. You got a home here. You know what I'm saying? So
thanks.
Yeah.
I'm awkward, so like I kind of suck at inviting myself onto shows, but I'll keep it in mind.
Sister, glory, glory, glory. You are talking to the awkwardest of awkward people. I'm Mr. Awkward, baby. Don't worry. We'll be awkward together.
That's awesome. All right.
Oh,
Much
Lord.
love, y'all. I
That
appreciate
just sounded
it.
so weird. But hey, it's me.
Peace, y'all.
All right, deuces. But yeah, there's another part to this that I actually wanted to attack. And I'm going to share my screen really quick because I want you to be on the lookout, because this type of attack is coming. And here we go. This is from Justin Amash. He's a libertarian. This is going to be what you're going to hear from a lot of people, especially on the right. Says leaking a draft opinion of the Supreme Court destroys trust among the justices and undermines justice. The justices must be able to share their thoughts candidly and vulnerably with one another. They are judges deciding cases, not legislators writing laws that need public input. There's just one problem with that. These opinions literally affect the lives of millions of people. When it comes to the lives and the body autonomy of people, I don't give a shit how we found that out. Our focus should be on the actual issue that is about to be overturned. That's the issue. This is just like attacking WikiLeaks for showing what we were doing in these wars, and instead of becoming outraged at what the United States was doing in our name in these wars against innocent people, you get outraged at the person that leaked the message. Like, wait a minute. Who cares about who leaked the message, right? The fact is that the information is now out there. And this is literally going to be setting, well, not necessarily even setting women back, but it makes it even more tougher. So, like, who cares if it was leaked? We should have known this anyway, and we need a government with full transparency in the first place. So, yeah, I don't agree with what Justin Amash just said, because we need to know what is going on. Let me go to the chat really quick. Tony Plow asks, is Justin pro-choice though? I don't know, but even still, I still think that this is a terrible take, because you're talking about, oh, it needs to be hush hush until it's basically done. And it's like, yeah, no. Like, this is something that is a massive overreach into the lives of people. So yeah, we're glad we found this out early, so that people can get out in the streets and so that people can actually, basically protest against this. And hopefully that leads into something more intense with demands that are placed so that we can actually change things. But yeah, I don't agree with what Justin Amash said. Robin Ryan says, reminds me instantly of Bush Jr. at a press conference podium. We're looking into how that got out. I'm sorry, quote unquote. We're looking into how that got out. Not investigating the wrongdoing, but targeting those who would have us better know. Weird Pilgrim says the question is, was the leak from a clerk or from higher up? And was the leaker offered anything for providing the documents, giving the gravity doing so for that person's career at the very least? That's an interesting question. I'll be honest with you, I would actually thank the person for leaking, because we deserve to know, you know. And there's a lot of people who are somehow blaming people for not voting for Hillary. People said that the threat of Roe v. Wade was under attack when they were campaigning for Joe Biden. And look who's president. Even Donald Trump said that Roe v. Wade, wouldn't be touched. And yeah, Angela says we got the right to know what's going on. Absolutely, we do have that right. It's our government, you know. And the thing is that here's the funny part. You're literally asking for privacy for the government while they invade our privacy. I'm going to say it again. You're literally pushing for privacy for the government while they invade our privacy. Like, make that make sense. Aren't we supposed to be the ones with privacy? Aren't there supposed to be transparency with the government? Why is it flipped? That doesn't make sense to me. Dear God, like, why? Yipper99 says that's because some of the leaks happened under Obama, and some people were like, don't talk about my black president. That's just the Republicans being racist. We knew this. What's the point? Thing is that this happened under a Democratic president. And the funny part is, this is actually perfect timing for them, because when Trump was president, people were already hypersensitive and awake to anything that he did, right? Anything that happened in the government, they were hypersensitive and aware. But as soon as Joe Biden came in, everybody went. And now they're being shocked awake. And now they're disoriented. Like, wait, what? Roe v. Wade is about to get overturned? We have a Democratic president. We have a Democratic government. What? Why? And what have those of us in MCSC, the Indie News Network, RBN, people like, Jimmy Dore, and people like Unapologetic and oh my goodness, Jackson Hinkle, and all of us. What have a lot of us been saying lately? We've basically been saying the Democrats are in league with the Republicans. And we've been telling y'all this for quite some time. And yet, for some reason, some people just don't understand. And now, watch. Quote me later. Obama's going to come out. He's going to put out a tweet. about these leaks. And then he's going to talk about how disappointed he is at the fact that the Supreme Court is doing this. Going to try to place blame on Republicans, even though in 2008 he had a supermajority in the Senate and a majority in the House, and he had the presidency. And he could have codified it into law. He didn't codify Roe v. Wade into law. He didn't codify interracial marriage into law. He didn't codify gay marriage into law. He didn't even do it. And yet he's going to start placing the blame on somebody else. The Democratic Party used you in order to gain money. That's what it was. They fear-mongered and then virtue signal to try to get your money. Go to Act Blue and donate to us so that we can put in more Democrats. Vote for more progressives. By the way, just to let y'all know, I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but Nina Turner's elections today. That on top. And mind you, this is also a huge issue that people are talking about, because I know I'm talking about here, but let's not forget that we're also on the cusp of World War III with a nuclear superpower that name starts with an R. Because this country wants to send $33 billion to Yahtzees in the country that starts with a U that rhymes with propane. By the way, $33 billion, that's about $13 billion, between $10 and $13 billion more than what it would take to end homelessness. And we're sending it to Yahtzees in the country that starts with a U and rhymes with propane. That's what we're doing. And that money that's being sent to them could drastically improve the lives of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans. But instead, you're doing that. And now we have on top of that the even greater risk against the body autonomy of about half of this country. Lord, I'm at the point where I'm becoming more radicalized day by day. What about y'all? What about you? Tony Plow, say it louder for the people in the back. Tony Plow says, Act Blue is a God-level con. Say it louder for the people in the back. Please, Tony. Thank you. Yes, Robin. As well as the planetary ecosystem collapse. Yes. Because the IPCC put out a report weeks ago talking about things are actually worse than what we thought. And now you got climate scientists, all different types of scientists, but a lot of climate scientists that are sounding the alarm, chaining themselves to doors of banks, basically saying, look, we need to change things now or we are doomed as a species. So yeah, y'all were played. A lot of y'all were played. Y'all were fooled. Y'all were bamboozled. Y'all were run amok. Y'all were had. And y'all still voted for Joe Biden. Even he was against abortion rights back in the day. Y'all think that changed? A leopard doesn't change its spots. Good Lord, man. And liberals can talk about, oh, well, if we had never gotten Trump. Y'all don't realize that Biden and Trump are basically one and the same. One fash, two fash, red fash, blue fash. What's the difference? I don't care if it's a potato chip or a French fry, they're both still potatoes. They're just cooked differently. Well, not French fry and potato chip, but like a bowl of mashed potatoes or a French fry, still the same thing. One is fried, one is boiled. So what? What's the difference? So if there's really not much interest, I'm sorry, there's really no difference. Why are you going to do anything with them? Why you have anything to do with them? All the fear mongering, and plus we're in a midterm election season. The Democrats are going to use this like crazy to fundraise off of. Dear God. And I bet you by the end of today, you're going to have so many Democrats on Twitter posting about, we're deeply disappointed about the decision by the Supreme Court, blah, blah, blah. We need to just elect more progressives into Congress in order to change things. Wasn't Obama considered a progressive? Wasn't the opportunity to codify Roe v. Wade into law, wasn't that there? It was. In fact, it's been there for over 50 years. I'm sorry, not over 50, almost 50 years. And it never happened. Despite supermajorities, despite majorities in the House, despite having the presidency. And please do not get me stuck on Nancy Pelosi. Because if she truly cared about this issue as Speaker of the House, she could have sounded the alarm back in 2008. She could have. So, yeah. Stop getting played, man. And I'm going to say this. I do think there are some people who run within the Democratic Party who deeply care about this issue and who are very much, pro-choice, as you would call it, pro-body autonomy for women. And they're terrified by this. And I do think that there are some that mean very well. But the party, they don't care. Look, they never cared about women. They just wanted you to think that they care. Why? Money, 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 money. Money. That's basically what it was. They lied to you to get to your pockets. That's basically all it was. Oh, yeah, we care about you. That's like somebody saying I love you just to get into your pants. How many of us have had that happen? Where somebody's like, oh yeah, I love you. Next thing you know, after the deed is done, they hit the road. What do you think the Democrats do? And the thing is that people are going to be like, well, why are you attacking the Democrats? Because they make themselves out to be the heroes when they're actually the villain. Plot twist. Are the Republicans trash? Of course. But we know they're trash. We know they are trash. But some of y'all don't know that the Democrats are trash too. That's why people like me exist. The more you know. So yeah, just to let y'all know, my sisters that were on here, they told y'all the truth. They told y'all what it is. I want to thank Afeni, Glory Jones, as well as Josana for being on with me today. And I am glad that they were able to express all the points in such a quick and concise fashion. Way better than I could. And so I'm glad to have ladies on. If any other one of you sisters, no matter who you are, wants to come on and, talk about the truth about things like this, I invite you to. If you're still, if you have an opinion, that is different from theirs, let me know in the comments. But I'm going to disagree, but but you can still let your opinion be known. And oh yeah, did I put out I put out what's it call it? A poll. Let me see. Let's see the poll. Okay, let me share my screen really quick. Where Pilgrim says, hey JB, if we threw the incumbent out every election, we could purge the political system in 6 years. Interesting. Let me see. Wait. Share my screen. Let's take a look here. Okay, so I asked a question. I said, do you think that the Democrats will suddenly fight to codify Roe v. Wade into law that the Supreme Court opinions leaked to the public about overturning that decision? I'm sorry. Do you think that the Democrats will suddenly fight to codify Roe v. Wade into law now that the Supreme Court opinions leaked to the public about overturning that decision? Out of 30 votes, 3% said yes, 97% said no. Friend to the show, Robin During, said, I wager that they are secretly happy about it now that they got a refreshed boogeyman issue to smack voters over the head with. It couldn't have happened at a better time for them too, right before the midterms. Thank you so much for that, Robin. Das Atmende Clarkson says they had 50 years to codify it into law, but they didn't because the uncertainty is important for them to grift and distract. They are probably more happy about this current development than Republicans are. Many Republicans might now be worried that this will cost them votes of independents and moderates. Most voters do not want to see Roe v. Wade overturned. But Democrats are surely happy about this because they can use it to grift and distract before the midterms. Was most probably a Democratic person responsible for that leak anyway. Now they can distract from their monstrous economic and foreign policies. Thank you so much, Das, for that comment as well. But that's basically, people are telling the truth. And I am just glad that people were able to just, speak out about it, because that's something that people don't really talk about. So, yeah. Let's watch. I'm going to be continuing to watch the developments of Nina Turner's election today. Also the whatchamacallit, the venturing into WW3 that is on the horizon that people aren't talking that much about right now, because of this debacle against body autonomy. I'm going to be keeping my eyes out on that as well, because, well, you know, apparently our government likes to give money to Yahtzees with an N. So unfortunately, I'm going to keep my eye on that one. And also, there's just a lot of stuff happening as far as the war front. They're trying to, they're trying to basically bring Julian Assange to the States in order to basically torture and kill him, trying to set example. So, about press freedom, as well as all the other political prisoners that we have. So yeah. So make sure to stay afloat on this as well and talk about it. Because a lot of this stuff is going on right now, and there's a lot of things that are coming our way, and it's kind of hard to keep up sometimes, but you do what you can. Robin Ryan says gubernatorial contest in 35 states this year. People might still make a good independent push here, pull the rug of foot soldiers out from under him some. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. So yeah, what we're going to do now is I'm going to be ending the stream. It is so good to have all of you here. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why. I thought y'all liked me. As far as my channel is concerned, I am 2 people away from 1,000. So I might end up having to do a special stream later this evening to celebrate 1,000 subscribers. I am literally only 2 subscribers away. So hopefully that will happen sometime this late afternoon. But other than that, fight for your loved ones. Fight for your siblings, because the thing is that that's what we need to do as far as this system is concerned. We have, we are all intrinsically connected. And so I saw that, Yipper. I'm not responding. I can't respond to that. Because no, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. Not today. You did that to me last time, Yipper. Nope. No. Love you, Yipper. But do the best you can, for your human family, as well as the beings on this planet that are not human, because we're all connected, and just be there for one another. Water your plants, water yourselves, smoke them if you got them, leave the world better than you found it. And I mean, if you want to support somebody with an OnlyFans, go ahead. I am so silly. Forehead kisses. I love you. Mwah! Yippee! I love all y'all. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that we see. Let's talk about